Welcome into the DFS Den. It's Dave Eddy here, aka Corporal Eddie on Twitter. Back at it here for a nice Sunday slate. We got 8-gamer on DraftKings. We're looking at 135 to 220, so should have zero problems with all these lineups in, with plenty of time to build. Pitching, we pretty much are status quo here, looking right at the top, basically. Garrett Cole on the road against the Rays. That's a very interesting matchup here for me. Garrett Cole, probably a lock for 15 points, could get you, upwards of 30 plus potentially. Obviously not the best matchup in the world, but Garrett Cole's a guy that you can feel pretty confident rolling your cash into there salary wise. And then I'm also interested here in Sandy Alcantara. Now, let's be fair, he has not been fantastic this year. He's only got one game over 20 points and only 3 games over 15. So that I'm not a big fan of that. He's on the road in Chicago, but it's Sandy Alcantara, so it's kind of the same thing as Garrett Cole. I feel relatively confident to say, he's worth 15 points to me and could get you upwards of 30. Again, I mean, these are two of the better pitchers in baseball. And so sometimes you just gotta, trust things. And they're guys that are going to get you the strikeouts. Both very well could get you the W as well. I mean, for me personally, I think that they are relatively hands down the two best options on this slate. But I do have a little bit of interest elsewhere. Some Joe Ryan against the Guardians in Cleveland. I can see some exposure there. Keep an eye on the weather, however, in Cleveland. Joey Lucchesi against the Rockies is interesting. I don't know that I would go there necessarily, but it's interesting. Opposite side of Joe Ryan, Cal Quantrill is interesting, but again, weather. Steven Matz against the Tigers. Tigers have been on a roll lately, so a little bit iffy there, but definitely somebody that I could wrap my head around playing. And then actually Hayden Wesniewski is actually quite interesting. He is going to be near the bottom as far as salary is concerned, but going up against this Marlins team, that's a team that strikes out quite heavily. And this is a guy who can get you some strikeouts as well. So not playing Alcantara and Wesneski together in, MMEs, that just limits your upside. Only one of them is going to be able to get you a win. But he's had, at least 12 points in 3 of his last 4 starts. So he's definitely an interesting one. But let's move on to hitting. Stack wise here, it's looking like a Cardinals day for me. I like them quite a bit compared to everybody else. I think that they are in a real prime position, and we'll just see where their ownership comes in. If they're going to be super chalky, then obviously I'm not as interested in them, but we'll see. As it sits right now, they're not looking to be super chalk. So we'll see how that shapes out. They're going up against Alex Faedo, a guy who's making his first start, a guy who, really wasn't that good, in the time that he was up at the end of, the middle of last year before he got hurt. But, it's going to be Nolan Arenado for me right in the middle of that lineup. I usually I like the lefty versus righty kind of matchups. I take the preference there, but it's not a surefire thing. So, sure, I could say, Nolan Gorman. I could say Lars Nootbaar. I could say Alec Burleson. But nope, I'm sticking with Nolan Arenado. That's my favorite play out of that stack. And then if it's not broke, don't fix it. So Bobby Witt Jr. again was my call yesterday. Hit us a home run. He's got at least 14 points in 4 straight games, going up against Oakland, a team that we have been known to attack. Going up against Mason Miller. Now Mason Miller has had 2 decent starts. He's been getting some Ks. Actually had 7 shutout innings his last time out against Seattle with 6 Ks. But I feel like that's a guy that we still can attack. And, why Bobby Witt Jr. is hot, he's a guy that I absolutely love. So that's what I'm looking at here for today. Still massive profits this year. So drop me a like if you've been right there along with me. And then do yourself a favor if you haven't done so. Subscribe over here. Turn on those notifications so you get an alert when a new video comes out. I wish you the best of luck Sunday.